We're live on the internet. You're live on Dad with a Phone this morning. Thanks for joining this beautiful Sunday, Saturday, whatever day. It was crazy at my house, so I stepped out, got to a little space in town where could have some quiet. Plus, they got high-speed internet, so it makes it worth it. Got me a fresh, hot love from my favorite coffee shop in town. Thought I would do a live video this morning because it's been a couple of days since we've talked about the Gannon case and then all the breaking developments in the Vallow case out in Hawaii. Finally, they made an arrest, and so we'll kind of I'll dive into that. We'll catch up on some videos as far as the news around all of that. I forgot my dang headphones, but I think I can get away without my headphones, and we'll listen to some videos. So thanks for joining me this morning. If you got questions, I am watching chat, so I'll answer questions because I didn't really have a huge agenda to talk about or a huge just ideas and thoughts. Around Gannon's case, they called off the search last week. They were back at the house yesterday, and we do have that is a confirmed deal. I know a lot of people were asking if that was rumor or not, but El Paso County Sheriff's put out a tweet. We can take a look at that. Yeah, the El Paso County Sheriff they put out a tweet saying that they were back there. Let's see if we can pull that up here. I just want to see if I can find that. I think it's EP El Paso. Here's the update that they put out 17 hours ago was that they were back at the house and searching for more evidence, trying to get more evidence. And this was on February 21st, 2020. And they dropped a picture on Twitter. And, this is the best we're getting are these Twitter updates, for people that are trying to keep up with it. The best you're going to get is from the El Paso County Sheriff's Twitter if you're wanting to know the official reports. There's a couple of news organizations that also did some broadcasts yesterday. We'll pull up one of those and take a look at what they say. But basically, they have had 700 plus tips. They exhausted their search efforts out in the Palmer Lake area, but said they could be back if something leads them back that way. They were back at where Gannon went missing around the southern Colorado Springs, kind of southeast Colorado Springs area, Lorson Ranch. They had the crime scene investigators back out there, which is interesting because it's been a number of days. Obviously, it's been I think it's been over a month now. He went missing on the 27th, and today is the 22nd. So just under a month, almost a full month. I think he went missing on the 27th. It might have been the 21st, and it has been a month. I've gotten lots and lots of messages from you guys about the case. Anytime something comes out, you guys send me something or somebody posts something to Dad with the Phone group. If you haven't joined Dad with the Phone group, you can do that over on Facebook. It's not specific to one case. People drop stuff about all kinds of cases, and so if you're just following true crime in general, you can go over to the Dad with the Phone group. Let's see. I want to pull up a statement was released via Landon, Gannon's mom, And it says, this needs to end. Gannon needs to be found and brought home to his mom and dad. I encourage everyone, whether in Colorado, California, Florida, or Australia, everyone everywhere, show your support for Gannon. Blue porch lights, right? Holding on to hope for Gannon on the rear window of your car in blue. Flood Facebook with Gannon every day. Whatever you can do to make it so that no matter where you look, you see the support for Gannon and family. Make it so that the person responsible for this situation can't take a breath without being reminded of Gannon. And don't stop until that person cracks. With enough pressure, I think we can get the person to lose their shit and crack. This is somebody that posted something on a group that, or lose her shit enough that the men in white coats will come to put her in a padded room. Come on, Colorado. Let's do this for Gannon. Let's get him home. So that was released via Landon's mom posted that on her page, but it came from a group called Gannon Stauch Searches. And we've been messaging back and forth with Landon. The update the sheriff's office put on their Facebook actually gave a little bit of information more than just the picture than they put on Twitter. It just kind of reiterates the same thing we've said. Update on Gannon Stauch's case. On February 21st, the Metro Crime Lab returned to Gannon's home as a part of an ongoing investigation into the disappearance. The investigation continues to progress with multiple agencies working to bring Gannon home. We have received 718 tips to date. These tips include possible sightings, search suggestions, social media related information, suspicious activity found property, possible evidence, and video, photo, drone evidence. Although search efforts in the southern Douglas County have been suspended, this investigation is not slowing down. As previously stated, investigated leads direct search efforts, and we have teams available and ready to deploy should the need arise. We continue to get numerous tips and messages through our social media platforms. If you have information you feel is pertinent to Gannon's case, please call the sheriff's office tip line at 719-520-6666 or email tips at elpasoco.com if you have not already done so. We know the community is anxious and awaiting answers. There is no public interest which outweighs maintaining the integrity of the investigation, and specific details will be released as the investigation allows. The PIO will be available for on-camera interviews from 5 to 5:30 today at the office of the sheriff. And so there you go. The sheriff's department has released their statements on what they're doing, on what you can do, and how you can get involved. If you have a tip or want to know or have some sort of information that can help, it's interesting to note that they've had 700 plus tips come in, and to hear them say that this isn't slowing down, that they have some leads that they're following hard. It's good. It's good. I know everybody wants to know, why haven't they made an arrest? When are they going to make an arrest? Who are they going to arrest that's involved in this? Those questions are not going to go away from the public. We know you're not going to stop asking those questions. I'm not going to stop asking those questions. We'll just have to sit back and wait. It was almost a full month from the day that Kelsey Barrett went missing to the day that they arrested Patrick Frazee. So this thing could take a month or two. It could take multiple months, and they could still come after whoever's responsible for whatever's happened to Gannon. I'm still believing that Gannon could be alive, and a lot of people think that may be naive, but I don't know why to hope and believe that would be wrong. If the worst is the outcome, we're gonna cross that bridge when we get there. But at this point, we have to believe that maybe this is something going on within a family thing. Maybe this is something that happened within family and friends, and this is some, this is some sort of payback wicked thing. So who knows? Who knows? That's what I'm saying, Peggy. Throw up some blue hearts for Gannon. Out hope. The POI, Public Information Officer, or I would say the public PIO, POI. I'm just reading those chats, trying to catch up. I have reached out to Landon's mom. I haven't heard back from her on the subject of where people can give. I don't want to promote a GoFundMe that I don't know is official. And the only way that I'll find out is, the way I feel like I can find out if it's official is through Gannon's mother. And so I haven't put up any links to any GoFundMes for Gannon just because, man, there's so many people out there that use these situations to scam. And I know there are some GoFundMes that are out there that are helping. I just want to make sure that if I'm going to promote one, that I make sure that it's the right one and not some scammers. So I've reached out to Land. I actually did that this morning. Haven't heard back from her, but I want to make sure that if I give you guys information on how to help, whether it be with travel expenses or any of that stuff for Gannon's mom, that I give you the right one. There are other ones online that people are promoting. I'm not saying any of those are not real ones. I'm just saying I want to make sure that if I put one out, that it's the right one. And so that's the only reason I haven't promoted a specific GoFundMe. If you want to support Dad with a Phone and what I do on Dad with a Phone, you can throw money in the bucket at that PayPal link on the bottom, but don't feel obligated to do any of that if you don't want to. People asked about that this morning. I like those hearts, though. The Lori Vallow case is very interesting, and they have arrested Lori Vallow, or I should say they have detained her. Let's pull up, I want to pull up a video so we can watch that together. Lori Vallow, from what I understand, I don't know I haven't followed this case from the very, very start. I just, people have brought this case to my attention over the last few weeks because when I talked about it a little bit with Scott Reich. We talked about it on Dad with a Phone a couple of times. And this basically, I'll kind of give you the breakdown of it, and then we'll watch a couple of videos of new stuff. 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 17-year-old sister Tylee Ryan haven't been seen since September. After fleeing from Idaho to Hawaii during an investigation, Vallow, 46, was arrested Thursday on charges of felony child abandonment. A milestone in a case that spans several states and is filled with bizarre twists. Lori Vallow, mother of missing Idaho kids, held on a $5 million bail. Extradition hearing set for March 2nd. If somebody 2 years ago would have said that what's going to happen with Lori, I never would have believed it. JJ's grandfather, Larry Woodcock, said last month when he announced a $20,000 reward for information leading to the children. I don't know what caused this conversion. You don't go from being mother of the year, mother of a special needs child, to being a person who won't even tell you where he's at, where he is, where they are at. If somebody 2 years ago would have said this is what was going to happen with Lori, I never would have believed it. There's a timeline change with Lori, and it started a few years ago, he said. Some of the timeline is detailed in a newly released court document from investigators in the rural Idaho city of Rexburg. The documents paint a bleak picture, with police saying Vallow repeatedly lied about her children's whereabouts. Their belongings have been found in an abandoned storage unit, and there has been no sign of them for months. Vallow appeared Friday in court in Hawaii, where her attorney couldn't get her $5 million bail lowered. Defense attorney Daniel Humphrey said police knew she was on Kauai and had a lawyer who's offered to turn her in. Instead, she was arrested and media was calling us all day, Humphrey said. It seems like it was a made-for-media event at taxpayers' expense. She faces a hearing March 2nd on extradition to Idaho. Of Vallow's children, Tylee disappeared first, according to probable cause affidavit written by the Rexburg Police Lieutenant Ron Ball. The teen went on a day trip to nearby Yellowstone National Park with her mom, little brother, and uncle. A National Park Service camera captured her image at the entrance, and a photo from Vallow's computer shows the girl made it inside the park. But ever since, no trace, Ball wrote. Then JJ vanished, the document says. He was enrolled in an elementary school for a few weeks in September and last seen there shortly before Vallow told employees that she was going to homeschool the boy. Grandparents of missing Idaho boy urge Vallow to start talking. Follow arrest in Hawaii report. We have not been able to find any witnesses who have seen JV since September 24, 2019, Ball wrote. Investigators into strange circumstances surrounding Vallow didn't begin in September. Her husband, Charles Vallow, was shot and killed in July at the family's suburban Phoenix home by her brother, Alex Cox. The Vallows' marriage had been crumbling. Charles had filed for divorce, saying in court documents that he had feared she calling herself a God assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming on July 2020. Cox told police the shooting was in self-defense and that Charles Vallow had come at him with a baseball bat. Police investigated, but the case didn't go far before Cox died of unknown cause in his Arizona home in December. Toxicology reports done as part of an autopsy have not yet been released. Lori Vallow moved to Idaho with the kids. She got an apartment in Rexburg in early September and reportedly continued spending time with an old acquaintance, Chad Daybell. He's a publisher and author who has written several books loosely based on theology of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, largely focused on doomsday scenarios. He also posted podcasts for an online organization aimed at church members with an interest in preparing for biblical end times. Lori Vallow participated in some of the podcasts, and the two had grown close. Daybell's longtime wife, Tammy Daybell, died in October. The obituary said the 49-year-old Fit School library died of natural causes, and the family declined an autopsy before she was buried in Utah. About 2 weeks later, Chad Bell and Vallow married on a Hawaiian beach. Meanwhile, JJ's grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock of Louisiana, were increasingly worried about the kids. Regular phone calls with JJ grew infrequent and stopped in August. They couldn't get answers. Idaho authorities were growing suspicious after hearing that Daybell had married so soon after his wife's unexpected death. They exhumed Tammy Daybell's body. The results of the toxicology and other tests have not been released. In late November, police Rexburg showed up at Vallow's apartment to check on the children at the grandparents' request. Investigators spoke with Cox and Daybell and got a strange reactions document says. Chad acted as if he didn't know Lori very well and stated he didn't know her phone number. Alex told the detectives that JV was with his grandma, Kay, Woodcock in Louisiana, which was not likely to be true due to the fact that Kay was the individual who first called in a missing child report, Ball wrote. The lieutenant said Vallow told him that the boy was in Arizona with a friend. That friend told police that JJ hadn't been to her house for months. When Rexburg police returned, Vallow's home was empty. The investigation has turned up disturbing findings, but no signs of the children. Their belongings, including JJ's winter clothes, were found in an abandoned storage unit in Rexburg last month. Police searched Vallow's apartment, found medicine prescribed to JJ, who has autism, but it was dated January 2019. And the prescription has never been filled in Idaho, records show. Daybell and Vallow were living in Hawaii by then, in the same town where she and her first husband resided years earlier. Police searched the couple's house and car last month and found the child's birth certificates, Tylee's bank card, and JJ's iPad, but say there's no evidence the children ever arrived in Hawaii. Vallow was ordered by a judge to produce the kids to Idaho authorities last month, but she didn't comply. Police asked for an arrest warrant this week, calling the couple a flight risk. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell have a significant financial resources. I'm aware that Chad Daybell received at least $430,000 in life insurance proceedings upon the death of his wife, Tammy. As such, Lori and Chad have resources sufficient to help them travel and hide from law enforcement, and the court, Ball wrote. An email to Daybell was not immediately answered. So that kind of gives you a quick scenario of where we're at. And here's a video we'll show on here that we will kind of probably just go through this stuff again, that we'll kind of rehash through. I'm going to read through some comments, and we'll go from there. Hope I don't get tricked.
Democrats are hoping history isn't repeated. I'm Pam Huso, Fox News. With Iowa's caucus chaos fresh in their minds, Democratic Party leaders...
What is this nonsense?
These are iPads that the state party purchased.
What is this? I got tricked. I got tricked. This was 17 hours ago. They tricked me. Here's some court stuff. We'll see if we can, they tricked me from a political ad standpoint, them suckers.
Why build a new high tensile steel chassis just to lower the driving position 10 millimeters? Because when you're crafting performance, no measure is too extreme. The Lexus LC and LC Hybrid. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
The arrest of Lori Vallow in Hawaii comes nearly 6 months after her children, 7-year-old JJ and 17-year-old Tylee, were last seen.
I don't know if y'all got audio now.
Counts of desertion and non-supportive dependent.
Now,
the arrest of Lori Vallow.
I just want to make sure y'all have audio. I want to make sure y'all have audio, and I don't know if I put audio on that screen share. So y'all haven't screamed at me yet, but we'll make sure you do now. This is going to show their arrest.
The arrest of Lori Vallow in Hawaii comes nearly 6 months after her children, 7-year-old JJ and 17-year-old Tylee, were last seen. She's now charged with 2 felony counts of desertion and non-supportive dependent children after failing to comply with a court order to produce them to authorities.
What kind of mother does that? A mother... The only word that is coming to my mind right now is a monster. And
JJ's grandmother calls Vallow a prolific liar, worries she's become unhinged and is perhaps part of a religious cult.
No comment.
Investigators are still searching for answers in this disturbing case, hoping the 47-year-old will explain what happened to her children. Vallow left their home in Idaho shortly after JJ and Tylee disappeared, going to Hawaii without them. There, she married Chad Daybell, a member of the same religious group focused on doomsday. Daybell, who has not been charged, has written several books about apocalyptic events.
I think she had a fascination with the idea of death.
In another disturbing twist, police are investigating the recent deaths of Vallow and Daybell's previous spouses. Detectives are also looking into the sudden death of Vallow's brother.
The bizarre case growing more troubling. This surveillance video outside Vallow's storage locker in Idaho showing two people moving heavy items into the back of a car. After calling Lori Vallow a devoted mother, tonight her attorney offered no further details on her arrest. A mother taken into custody while her children remain missing. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
All right, we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch another report. This one's a little longer. This is gonna show her in the actual courtroom, I believe. I'm gonna pull this one up. Like I said, I'm just pulling these straight from online. Watch this one.
Right now, for the first time, this taking place in a Kauai courtroom. Let's take a listen right now.
Instructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court, criminal willful disobedience, or court process or order. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, she's aware of the charges.
Okay. And Ms. Vallow, I understand that you have standing next to you Mr. Hempe and Ms. Primo. For the record, you understand that you have a right to counsel. And I'm going to ask you to speak up so we can get this all recorded.
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that you have the right to test the legality of the warrant.
Yes.
And you understand that you have a right to apply for a writ of habeas corpus.
Yes.
And do you understand what a writ of habeas corpus is?
We got that covered, and we do. So through us, she does.
Okay. So basically, you understand that the purpose of the writ of habeas corpus is to test the legality of the governor's warrant and basically the legality of this extradition process.
Yes.
And unless you are charged with an offense that's punishable by death or life imprisonment, that you have the right to post a bond.
Yes.
And you understand that this court cannot hold you in jail for more than 90 days after you have been identified. And further, do you understand, Ms. Vallow, that, as I said, you and your attorneys have the right to test the legality of the arrest. You understand basically that you have a right to have an extradition hearing.
Yes.
And you understand that you have a right to have this extradition hearing, and this is to determine whether or not you are the person, in fact, that is named in the warrant that has been requested by the state of Idaho.
Yes.
And at this time, let me address either yourself or your attorney. Will Ms. Vallow be waiving her right to extradition?
No, Your Honor. She is exercising her right to an extradition hearing.
And when are you requesting that we have this hearing?
Your Honor, I'd like to be heard on bail, and that will determine the answer. But the short answer is, if the court keeps bail as it is, we'd like it to be as Monday, as soon as possible. If the court is going to lower bail, then it can go further out, such that she can actually make it.
And so this leads into your request to lower bail?
It leads to my request for bail. Your Honor, my understanding is this is a warrant from an Idaho court. It's not a governor's warrant. The application from the state says that they intend to seek a governor's warrant, or they might seek a governor's warrant, I think, but they don't have one yet.
This is issued by Judge Eddings.
Right. So as such, Hawaii law governs bail, not Idaho law, and that's HRS 832-14 and 832-15. So I would ask to be heard as to bail, because we are sitting here with a couple felonies and misdemeanors and a $500,000 bail. And the points I want to make, they just track the bail statute. But the points I want to make is, first of all, Lori has a residence on Kauai. Her husband lives on Kauai. She remained in Kauai since Mr. DaCosta made contact with the police in January. They've known she was here. Mr. DaCosta has been in touch with them. I have the emails. Police knew she was represented by counsel on Kauai since January 30th of this year as well. She made a trip to Maui on vacation, but she left She informed Mr. DaCosta, and he remained willing to produce her as soon as the police wanted her. He's been in contact with the police throughout this, again, offering to produce her. Instead, she was arrested, and media was calling us all day. It seems like it was maybe a made-for-media event at taxpayer expense because, again, Mr. DaCosta offered to the police on January 30th, several police, that he would just simply turn her in. She doesn't even have a passport. And as to the charges, as the court noted, a couple of things the court noted today that were I guess, prescient and related. First of all, there's no life in prison or death penalty in this case. So she has a right to bail. And again, that should be set by this court under this court's bail standards. The last case, I just heard the court affirm $1,000 bail on a misdemeanor. We've got 2 misdemeanors here and a couple of felonies. Under the Idaho statute, it appears that the maximum penalty for any of those felonies is like 13, 14 years. So they're basically like bees in Hawaii. And typically, that would be typically more in the neighborhood of $10,000 bail here or $20,000. And again, given her residency here, she hasn't fled. They didn't even need to arrest her. And Mr. DaCosta has been in touch with them the whole time. We would request that bail be reduced until the hearing to a constitutional amount, an amount, in other words, that will ensure her appearance as opposed to ensuring that she can't make bail, which is the current state of things.
So what specific amount are you asking?
I'm asking for $10,000. I think that's how the court we typically see a bail like that in a case like this if it were here.
Thank you. Mr. Kohler, your response.
Judge, the charge, at least one of the charges that Ms. Vallow is facing in Idaho, felony abandonment or non-support of wife or children, is punishable by imprisonment of up to 14 years in prison. And that makes it at least the equivalent of a Class B in Hawaii, which does qualify as a serious crime under HRS 804-3A. We are asking that Ms. Vallow be remanded without bail. She checks every single box under 804-3 in that any person charged with criminal offense shall be bailable by sufficient sureties, provided that bail may be denied where the charge is for a serious crime, which this is, and 1, there is a risk that the person will flee, which certainly is indicated in this case. She has already absconded from the jurisdiction where the underlying crime is alleged to have taken place. 2, there is a serious risk that the person will obstruct or attempt to obstruct justice. Indeed, one of the charges she's facing in Idaho is precisely that she has interfered with an investigation. 3, there is a serious risk that the person poses a danger to any person or the community. Certainly, the charges she's facing indicate that risk. And there is a serious risk that the person will engage in illegal activity. Your Honor, she has no ties to this island other than a rented condominium in Princeville. She has apparently resources to travel and leave. And Your Honor, the state submits that if ever there was a case suitable, our office does not request this on a regular basis, that a person be denied bail. This is the case that's appropriate for that. As far as the identification hearing goes, for us to get the necessary documents from Idaho as well as Honolulu and arrange for the necessary witnesses, we're asking for an ID hearing to be set in the second week of March, if that's what we're going to do. Your Honor has up to 30 days. But to get the necessary people here from off island, because everything does need to come from off island, that is going to take some time and coordination. So we're asking for a date after March 5th on that.
Mr. Kohler, a couple of things. Let's begin with a statement made by Mr. Hempy a few minutes ago. Are you in agreement with his categorization that this is not a governor's warrant matter?
No, the governor's warrant has not been obtained yet. The governor's warrant is obtained after the person has been brought in and exercised their right to demand the governor's warrant. The Madison County prosecutors, per my discussions with them, which have been ongoing, they are prepared to immediately seek their governor's warrant and have it domesticated in the state of Hawaii.
Okay, very good. Now, Mr. Kohler, I guess the most important question I have is, why would it take 3 weeks to get the witnesses or other means of identification so that we can go forward with the hearing?
Because we need to get fingerprints from Idaho sent here. They need to be compared in Honolulu with Hawaii fingerprints that are on file for Ms. Vallow. They need to be, the results of that analysis need to be checked by another analyst in Honolulu, and then we need to bring the witnesses over here. And particularly if Your Honor is inclined to apply, we note that the rules of evidence do not apply to identification hearings, but if we are going to have to comply with those rules, then we need to make sure we actually bring the live witnesses here, and that requires coordination with a number of individuals who, and we have been working on that and advised them as soon as we learned this morning that Ms. Vallow intended to contest her extradition, we began making those arrangements. But we don't want to get in a situation where we commence next week and then we have to continue because somebody was unavailable, Judge. We want to be able to get it all done at once. And we think that's reasonable in light of the circumstances.
Okay, Mr. Hempy, your response?
Your Honor, I don't think I heard anything that takes 3 weeks. And we're concerned with her in custody, by the way, for another reason. Yesterday, when she was arrested, and my office was calling cell block, Mr. DaCosta was calling cell block, and they told him she's not here. And basically she was MIA for hours. And we learned since that the Idaho police were questioning her while with the Kauai police, while they knew she was represented by counsel. It's just another reason to get this done faster. I mean, fingerprints and fingerprint comparisons don't take very long. And getting people over here shouldn't take 3 weeks. And just in response to the bail arguments, she is presumed innocent, and I don't think the state has checked the box of danger to the community. They're alleging simultaneously she's not with the children, but that she's a harm to them, and there's certainly no allegation that she's a harm to the community on Kauai. So that's my response.
Okay. All right. Anything further? Either side?
Unless Your Honor has particular questions.
No, I don't. Okay. All right. Then, first of all, as to bail, bail is confirmed in the amount of $5 million. As to the hearing, we will set the hearing. Let me just confirm that. Okay, we're going to set it for Monday, March 2nd, 2020. It'll be on the 9 o'clock calendar following our regular criminal calendar.
Maybe heard briefly.
Yes.
I know that Mr. Hempy represented that Ms. Vallow does not have a passport, but could we make it a condition that if she does manage to post bail, that if she has one, and we will independently investigate that, if she does have one, that it be a condition of the bail that she turn that in.
Okay, you want that surrendered to your office?
To the Kauai Police Department.
Okay, and any response to that?
She doesn't have a passport. So.
Okay, all right, then let me just make it clear on the record, Ms. Vallow, should you bail out, you are to surrender immediately upon bailing out any passports that you may have, and that goes over to the Kauai Police Department for safekeeping. Okay, all right, anything further?
Thank you.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Now with that, court is adjourned. Thank you.
Let's go.
All rise.
And you just saw Lori Vallow's first court appearance in Kauai. Her lawyer asking for an extradition hearing to take place on Monday and bail to be reduced from $5 million to $10,000. The prosecutor asked for 3 weeks to prepare for an extradition hearing. The judge confirmed a $5 million bail in a hearing for March 2nd.
Man, that judge ain't giving nothing to her. $5 million in bail. Take about $500,000 probably cash to get someone to write that bail. If you're gonna, they kind of talked about if she were to post bail, if they let this lady post bail, she's disappearing. With what I'm looking at about this Chad Daybell, I'm gonna bring up his website. People are probably gonna be pissed at me for bringing this shit up, but Chad Daybell has worked in the publishing business for the past 2 decades and has written more than 25 books. The Times of Turmoil series is a sequel to Chad's best-selling Stand in Holy Place series, which continues to find success in both the LDS bookstores and the national retail chain. Chad is also known for his other novels, such as Chasing Paradise, the Emma trilogy, as well as a nonfiction books for youth, including the Aaronic Priesthood, and the Youth of Zion. He and his wife, Tammy, also created the Tiny Talk series for preliminary children. He is currently the president of Spring Creek Book Company. Lineup titles. Let's see where this goes. Air, establishing database correction. It looks like you've been taken down. Books by Chad Daybell. The Edge of Heaven, Times of Turmoil series. Standing in Holy Place series. Nonfiction titles. One Foot in the Grave. So this guy still lists his dead wife on the, I was seeing if there was any blogs. This guy. So I'm always fascinated by these cult leaders because, one, I grew up in like a very Christian American home. Both my one of my parents worked for a church. My dad worked for a big televangelist for a while. He had a private police force and security force for a big televangelist for 10 years. We once lived, I was born, first of all, I was born in Waco, Texas. I lived in, when I was first born, was in Elmont, Texas. So anyone who has followed cults knows of the David Koresh deal. We once bought a dog from David Koresh. Now, this was before the whole Branch Davidian thing down in Waco, but cults have always been fascinating to me. And I think this Chad Daybell is a part of some sort of religious cult. The crazy thing about this case is the suspicious death that not only surround the timing and this just recent suspicious death of Lori's husband, Lori's brother, Chad's wife, and then the disappearance of these children. We were all sitting around going, why haven't they arrested this lady yet? Well, there's a couple of things that could happen. Extradition is not always easy. And that extradition hearing is going to be real interesting because if Hawaii, if they are able to push off extradition for 90 days, Hawaii has to release her. And so this is a game now in the court system, and that lawyer seems to have his together, at least in arguing some things. I'm not saying that the DA is not going to argue back, but that's 3 months. 90 days is 3 months. And when you're talking about the court system, 3 months is nothing. That's a blink in the eye. And so fighting that extradition, and then on the flip side of this, if they were able to come up with $500,000 and get, somebody to take, and bail bondsmen are like you and I. If there is some weird, the arrest affidavit can be read at, dang it, I got to find that. Where is that? EastIdahoNews.com. Let me see if I can find that. If they're somehow able to come up with the bail money, I'm just trying to find this arrest affidavit. There we go. Well, this is her mug shot. It was, she has a smug mugshot. Her mugshot is a freaking smug thing. Look at that smug face. Let's see what we can read. Court documents lay out timeline of investigation, detail the last. What happened? Did I click it? I want to see if I can find the original affidavit. What happened there? Something happened. Oh, here we go. Bingo. All right. The Madison County Prosecutor's Office, having submitted Pursuit of Idaho Criminal Rule 3, the sworn affidavit of Detective Ron Ball of Rexbury Police Department, who complains and alleges the defendant, Lori Vallow, a.k.a. Lori Noree Daybell, lists her address, count 1. Desertion and non-support of children or spouse, a felony. The defendant, Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, on or between the 23rd day of September 2019 and the 18th day of February 2020, in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, did desert a child under the age of 18, to wit, JV, date of birth 5/25/2012, who was dependent upon the defendant for care, education, and support within the intent to abandon, JV. Count 2, desertion and non-support of children or spouse, a felony, punishable up to 14 years imprisonment and or up to $500 fine. The defendant, Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, on or between the 8th day of September 2019 and the 18th day of February in the county of Madison, state of Ohio, did desert a child under the age of 18, to wit, TR, date of birth 09/24/2002, who was dependent upon the defendant for care, education, support, and the intent of abandonment, TR. Resisting or obstructing an officer, a misdemeanor, punishable up to 1 year in jail and or $1,000 fine. That's crazy. So listen, the obstructing is up to $1,000 fine. The other felony is up to $500 fine. $500 fine for felony, $1,000 for misdemeanor. It makes no sense. The defendant, Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, on or about the 26th day of November 2019 in the county of Madison, state of Ohio, Idaho, did willingly delay and obstruct a public officer, to wit, Lieutenant Ron Bell of the Rexburg Police Department, in the discharge of his office by giving false information regarding the whereabouts of a child, JV, date of birth 5/25/2012, and thereby delayed the search for JV. Solicitation, a misdemeanor, punishable up to 6 months in jail and or up to $500 fine. The defendant, Lori Vallow, aka Daybell, on or about the 26th day of November 2019 in the county of Madison, state of Ohio, Idaho, with the purpose of promoting or facilitating the commission of a crime, encouraged and or requested Melanie Gibb to engage in conduct which would constitute the crime of resisting and or obstruction an officer by requesting and or encouraging Melanie Gibb to give false information to law enforcement regarding the whereabouts of her child, JV, date of birth 5/25/2012. The defendant, Lori Vallow, the charges count a contempt, so they gave her a contempt. The defendant, Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, on or about the 30th day of January 2020 in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, did willingly disobey a lawful court order in Madison County, case number CV 33-20-0045, by failing to physically produce minor child JV and TR to the Rexboro Police Department and or Idaho Department of Health and Welfare within 5 days of the service of order, all of which is contrary to the form, force, and effect of the statute in such cases made and provided, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Idaho. Said complainant thereas prays that a warrant be issued for the arrest of said Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, and that she may be dealt with according to by law. The district court probable cause affidavit, the Detective Ron Bell. Let's see here. Detective Ron Bell, Rexbury Police Department, being first duly sworn under oath, deposed the state follows. The information contained hereby is true and correct to the best of the knowledge and my belief. I am a detective with the Rexboro Police Department, and I've been employed by law enforcement for more than 27 years. I am currently the lieutenant over investigations of the Rexboro Police Department. I currently hold the advanced certification and management certificate from the Idaho Peace Officer Standards and Training Academy and have over 2,500 hours of training. I've attended multiple training classes throughout my career, including graduating the FBI National Academy in 2015. I have received multiple hours of specialized training in investigations. I have also conducted numerous investigations and interviews with suspects, victims, and witnesses involving narcotics, sex crimes, and fraud. I've also received numerous hours of training on traffic stops and the detection of criminal behavior. On the afternoon of November 25th, 2019, the Rexboro Police Department, hereafter RPD, was contacted by the Gilbert, Arizona Police Department about a missing child, hereafter designated as JV, date of birth 05/25/2012. JV is a 7-year-old boy with autism who was supposed to be living with his adoptive mother, Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell. Hereafter, Lori Vallow, or Lori, JV's grandmother's Kay Woodcock, had contacted the Gilbert Police Department about JV for a welfare check. Lori Vallow also has a daughter, TR, date of birth 09/24/2002. As described further in this affidavit, while RPD was investigating the disappearance of JV, the investigation grew to include a search for TR, who is also missing and has not been seen since September 8, 2019. I am aware that Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg with JV near the first week of September 2019. I am aware that JV was enrolled for 3 weeks at the Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg, Idaho. I am further aware that he has been seen by neighbors at the nearby his apartment in Rexburg. Through the investigation, RPD has learned that the last day JV was seen alive was on September 23rd, 2019, Kennedy Elementary School. On September 21st, 2019, Lori Vallow informed the school that JV would no longer be attending Kennedy Elementary and that Lori would homeschool him. Kennedy Elementary has informed RPD that no other school has made requests for JV school transcripts. We have not been able to find any witnesses who have seen JV since September 24th, 2019. I was familiar with Lori Vallow because the RPD has previously been contacted by the Gilbert, Arizona and Chandler, Arizona Police Department, who requested help to obtain search warrants for a vehicle in Lori's possession. Said vehicle was released to a possible attempted murder of Lori's niece, ex-husband, Brandon Bordeaux, maybe in Arizona. I'm aware that Detective Ray Hempslow had also performed intermittent surveillance on Lori Vallow at the request of the Gilbert Police Department, stating on November 1st, 2019, Detective I'm going to call him Detective H, reports that he never once saw JV when he was performing surveillance during the month of November 2019. The vehicle mentioned in paragraph 6 of the affidavit is a 2018 gray Jeep Wrangler bearing Texas license plate LWDO997. Said vehicle is registered to Charles Vallow, who is deceased husband of Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow and Charles Vallow were in the process of getting a divorce when Charles Vallow died. My goodness. The GPD was interested in the vehicle because it had been identified in an attempted shooting of Brandon in Gilbert, Arizona on October 2nd, 2019. Brandon had previously been married to Lori Vallow's niece, Melanie Bordeaux, I think is how you pronounce that. At the time of his attempted shooting, Brandon witnessed the Jeep, which he recognized as being the same vehicle that TR regularly drove. Brandon observed a rifle with a silencer came out of the rear window of the Jeep, and then Brandon's vehicle was shot once in the front driver's door frame. As Brandon drove away, the Jeep followed, but eventually turned a different direction. The same Jeep observed by Brandon was seized pursuant to a search warrant in November of 2019 in Rexburg, Idaho. It is significant that the vehicle TR reported regularly drove was still in Rexburg near 2 months after the last known sighting of TR. I am aware through contact with the Gilbert and Chandler Police Department that Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, was shot on July 11, 2019 by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Lori Vallow is now married to Chad Daybell from Fremont County, Idaho. Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy Daybell, died in Fremont County, Idaho on October 19, 2019. I was informed that Chad and Lori married approximately 2 weeks after the death of Tammy Daybell. I later confirmed where they were married on November 5th, 2019 on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. Through our investigation, RPD discovered photographs of their wedding on a beach in Hawaii. Neither JV or TR are seen in any of those photographs. On November 26, 2019, Detective H and Detective Hope from the RPD went to Lori's home located at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175, Rexburg, Idaho, to conduct a welfare check. Detective H and Hope met with Lori's brother, Alex Cox, and Chad Daybell outside the residence. Chad acted as if he didn't know Lori very well and stated he didn't know her phone number. Alex told the detectives that JV was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, in Louisiana, which was not likely to be true due to the fact that Kay was the individual who first called the missing child report to the GPD. Alex said Lori may be in apartment 107. Detective H and Hope went to apartment 107, but apartment was completely empty and vacant. At this time, they called me and asked me to come to the premises to help search for JV. Shortly after calling me, Detective H called me again and indicated that he saw Chad Daybell driving a black Chevrolet Equinox away from the residence. Detective H stopped Chad and asked him again if he had seen JV. Chad responded that the last time he had seen JV was in apartment 107 in October. He also admitted he knew Lori Vallow's phone number and provided it to Detective H. On the same day, myself and Detective Stubbs of the RPD located and spoke with Lori Vallow in her apartment 175. We identified ourselves as RPD officers. Lori told us that JV was in Gilbert, Arizona with a friend named Melanie Gibb. We obtained Melanie's phone number from Lori. We ended our contact with Lori and immediately attempted to call Melanie Gibb. We were unable to contact her. Because Detective Stubbs and I were unable to contact Melanie, we immediately contacted Lori Vallow again, and we requested that she call Melanie Gibb. At this time, Lori told us that Melanie and JV were at the movie Frozen 2, so it was unlikely Melanie would answer her phone. We instructed Lori to call Melanie Gibb and have her call us so we could verify the location of JV. By the evening of November 26, 2019, we had still not heard from Melanie Gibb, so RPD informed Detective Ryan Pillar of the Gilbert Police Department of the information we had received regarding the child being with Melanie. It was informed later that evening around 9:30 p.m. that Gilbert police went to the home of Melanie Gibb. Melanie was not home, but Detective Pillar contacted her by the phone, and she stated that JV was not staying at her Arizona house and had not been seen for several months. On December 6, 2019, RPD was contacted by Melanie Gibb and informed that both Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow called Melanie on November 26, 2019 at separate times and asked her to tell the police that she had JV even though JV was not with her. Melanie informed RPD that she declined Chad and Lori's requests. This further establishes that the statement made to law enforcement by Lori Vallow on November 22nd was false and that Lori knew it was false. The statement Lori made to RPD about JV being at Melanie Gibb delayed the investigation into the whereabouts of the safety of JV by requiring us to take time to investigate a lead that was verified as false. On November 27, 2019, RPD obtained a search warrant to search Lori Vallow's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road on 17 Rexbury, Idaho. Melanie Bordeaux Powalski, Lori Vallow's niece, apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road 174. So these apartments are right next to each other, Rexbury, Idaho, and Alex Koch, Lori's brother, apartment 565, 107, Rexbury, Idaho. So these are all apartments at the same place. This apartment had nothing in it and other than a couple of small items in its garage. All three apartments are part of the same complex. JV was not located at any of the residents. It appeared to me that most of the clothing in Lori's apartment had been removed. Other furniture was still in the residence. RPD believed that she left Rexbury with Chad Daybell the night of November 26, 2019. Melanie Bordeaux later confirmed that Chad and Lori did leave Rexbury the night of 26. During the search warrant of Lori Bellow's apartment, we found evidence that JV was prescribed Risperidone in the form of a pill bottle labeled with JV's name and the prescribed Risperidone. I have learned through research that Risperidone is a tranquilizer prescribed to treat irritability caused by autism. This prescription was filled for JV in January 2019 in Arizona. The Risperidone bottle still contains 17 pills. We have verified through Idaho State Pharmacy Board that said prescription has not been filled in Idaho. On November 27, 2019, RPD also served a search warrant on Lori Vallow's storage unit located at Self Storage Plus in Rexburg, Idaho. Inside the storage unit, we found a blanket with pictures of JV on it, a blanket with pictures of TR on it, a backpack with JV's initials on it, toys that appeared appropriate for a young boy, winter clothing, other children's clothing, bikes and scooters, and a photo album. RPD was further made aware that the credit debit card Lori Vallow provided to self-storage was declined on January 2nd, 2020. The owner of Self-Storage Plus has reported to law enforcement that a regularly operated procedure. He has reached out to Lori Vallow by phone, text, email, and has heard nothing back from her. At this time, Lori Vallow was not attempted to provide other debit cards to Self-Storage Plus. Soon after he executed the search warrant to find JV at the apartments in Rexburg, Gilbert police asked us if we had any record of TR, date of birth 9/24/2002, being in Rexburg. TR is Lori Vallow's biological daughter from her marriage with Joseph Ryan, who is deceased. Man, this woman has a bunch of people dying around her, people disappearing. All right, let's keep reading. TR has a brother named Kobe Ryan. I'm aware that Gilbert Police Department has been in contact with Kobe. Kobe reports that the last time he spoke with TR was on August 30th, 2019 via FaceTime. He informed Gilbert police that when he tried to contact TR after August 30th, Lori would give excuses as to why TR could not talk with him. Through our investigation, RPD has been informed that TR moved to Rexburg with Lori on or about September 1st or 2nd. We have been informed that Lori told Melanie Gibb that TR was attending classes at BYU, Idaho. However, records check at BYU indicates that TR was never enrolled at BYU or any other school affiliated with BYU. This thing gets crazier and crazier. RPD verified Lori Vallow moved into the apartment located at Pioneer Road, number 175 in Rexboro with TR and JV on or around September 1st or 2nd. The information was corroborated by Lori Vallow's neighbor who lived in the same complex in the next door apartment. They saw TR at or around the residence when she moved in with Lori. These same neighbors actually helped Lori Vallow move into the apartment. They saw TR briefly a couple of times after she moved in, but have not seen her since the first couple of weeks of September. Their son played with JV multiple times. These same neighbors have further informed us through Detective Stubbs of the RPD that one of their children went to Lori's apartment sometime in late September to play with JV, and the child was informed by Lori that JV was not there and that he had gone to stay with his grandma. Other neighbors of Lori Vallow who lived directly across the courtyard from Lori at 565 Pioneer Road had a doorbell camera that recorded JV outside playing on September 17th, 2019. Throughout our investigation, we were able to determine through phone records that TR accompanied Lori Vallow, Alex Cox, and JV on a day trip to Yellowstone National Park on September 8th, 2019. We have obtained a photograph of TR at the park's entrance through the National Park Service. Also, through service of a search warrant, RPD has obtained a photo from Lori Vallow's iCloud account of TR in Yellowstone National Park that is timestamped September 8th, 2019. That photo is the last time we can find any record of TR being with Lori Vallow. We have found no witnesses who can verify they have seen TR since September 8th, 2019. RPD has verified that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow flew from the Los Angeles, California airport to Kauai on American Airlines December 1st, 2019. The information was obtained through a search warrant served on American Airlines. RPD cannot find any information suggesting they have returned to the mainland of the United States since that time, and it appears they have been in Hawaii since they arrived on December 1st, 2019. Those same records establish that JV and TR were not with their mother. Crap. Lori Vallow when they flew to Kauai. Oh, dang it. What happened here? Let's go back. Can I go back? God, oh, that messed me up. I'm aware that Chad and Lori are currently living at 4141 Queen Emma Drive, Unit 3, Princeville, Kauai, Hawaii. I'm in contact with the Kauai police who are monitoring the condo in which Chad and Lori are staying. The children have not been sighted with Chad and Lori. Further, I am aware that on multiple occasions, Chad and Lori checked into the Kauai Beach Resort and that no children were checked in with them. The information was provided by an employee of the resort. Detective Chad of the Kauai Police Department has performed surveillance on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai. He has informed us that he has seen Lori Vallow with Chad at least 3 times since he had made aware that Chad and Lori were residing in Kauai. Detective Cataluna has informed us that not once has he seen JV and TR with Chad and Lori. On December 20th, 2019, the Rexbury Police and the FBI published a press release announcing that JV and TR were missing. The RPD was looking for them and asking for the public's help in locating them. Since December 20th in 2019, the case has received national media attention. Lori Vallow has refused to provide law enforcement with any information regarding the location of her child, TR and JV. Through the investigation, RPD has learned that Lori Vallow used the website www.care.com to find a babysitter for JV. Through services of a search warrant on www.care, we were able to verify the identity of the babysitter who Lori Vallow hired to watch JV. We contacted the babysitter and she informed us that she watched JV on the 19th of September. She had met Lori Vallow and JV the day before September 18, 2019. The babysitter understood that her employment was to be ongoing. The babysitter reports that on the 24th, she reached out to Lori, and Lori told her that JV had gone to stay with his grandma for several weeks and that the babysitters were no longer needed. On January 16, 2020, a child protection action was filed by the state of Idaho in Madison County on behalf of JV and TR. The case number is CV 33-20-0045. The court ordered Lori Vallow to produce JV and TR within 5 days of the service of the order to the Rexbury Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Rexbury. Lori Vallow was served the order on Saturday, January 25th, 2020 by Detective Chad Cataluna of the Kauai Police Department. Lori did not produce the children within 5 days of being served and has not produced the children to this date. Other than any current order in a pending Child Protection Act in Madison County, Idaho, RPD has not found any court record or order establishing guardianship or parentage of TR with anyone other than Lori Vallow. There is a final decree of adoption from the 14th Judicial District Court Parish of the state of Louisiana establishing Charles and Lori Vallow as the adoptive parents of JV dated 25/2004. As such, the only known living parent of JV and TR is Lori Vallow. On the dates between January 24th and 2020 and January 29th, 2020, I was in Hawaii with Detective H and the Kauai Police Department. I reviewed video of Lori Vallow being served with the order of child protection case, in which was filmed by the Kauai Police Department. JV and TR were not seen in the video. While we were there, 2 FBI agents, Roy Johnson and Douglas McLand, assisted us in performing surveillance on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. On the morning of January 26, 2020, they observed Chad and Lori on the beach. JV and TR were not with them. During the afternoon of January 26, I observed Kauai Police Department serve search warrants on the persons of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and on a black Ford Explorer they had rented. Said warrants were served on them in the parking lot of the Kauai Beach Resort. JV and TR were not with Lori and Chad. The following items were located in possession: birth certificate for TR and JV, TR's financial transaction card issued by BBVA, JV's iPad identified by the initials on the back, another iPad which is logged into JV's Apple account, JV's school registration receipts from Kenny Elementary in Roxbury, Idaho. Through our investigation, RPD learned that TR's BBVA financial transaction card, which was found with Lori Vallow, is still active and has been used since the last sighting of Ty Lee. On January 26, 2020, after the search warrants were served on a person and vehicle, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, a search warrant was served on the condominium located at 4141 Queen Emma Drive, Unit 3, Princeville, Kauai, Hawaii, where Chad and Lori were residing. I personally observed the Kauai police perform the search. In the garage of the condominium, there were 2 beach lawn chairs, 2 yoga fitness mats, and 2 beach towels. There were no items in the garage that appeared to belong to a minor child. There was nothing found in the condominium that appeared to belong to TR JV. Further, that was nothing found in the condominium that would indicate that a 7-year-old boy had been there, such as a child's clothing, toys, children's books, children's medication, etc. There was a second room other than the master bedroom in the condominium that its second room had no signs of being lived in or otherwise occupied. Through investigations, RPD discovered that JV had a service dog for his autism. This dog was named Bailey and was trained by Dog Training Elite Arizona on July 22nd. She sent Dog Training Elite Arizona an email asking about finding another family for Bailey due to a change in life circumstances. Dog Training Elite Arizona picked up the dog on August 30th, 2019. Through this investigation, I interviewed Chad Daybell's parents, Jack and Shelley Daybell, Springville, Utah. They informed me that Chad and Lori told them in November that Lori Vallow was an empty nester. Oh, shit. Wow. Through this investigation, RPD has interviewed Jason and Samantha. Samantha Gurwell is the sister of the deceased Tammy Daybell. Jason and Samantha informed RPD that Chad told them Lori had no juvenile children. On February 2016, 2020, RPD received a tip from a named individual in Maui, Hawaii, that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow were renting car from the Hertz car rental at the Maui airport. The informant provided a picture of Chad and Lori. JV and TR were not with Chad and Lori in the picture. Throughout the investigation, RPD and the FBI have reviewed Lori Vallow's bank and financial information. No information has been found which would suggest that Lori Vallow is providing money to anyone to care for JV and TR. RPD has found no evidence of verification of anyone providing housing, food, clothing, education, or medical care for JV since September 24, 2019, and TR since September 8, 2019. As of the date of this affidavit, JV and TR are still missing. Due to Lori Vallow is the legal parent and guardian of TR. Nobody has seen or heard from TR since September 8th. Nobody has heard of JV since September 23rd. Lori Vallow has verifiably been living on the island of Hawaii since beginning of December with her new husband, Chad Daybell, and had not once have they been seen with JV or TR. The condominium currently occupied by Chad and Lori contains no evidence that any person other than Chad and Lori is living there. The medication prescribed to JJ has not been refilled in the state of Idaho at a time when JV was verifiably with Lori. TR's financial transaction card was in the possession of Lori Vallow, even though TR has not been with Lori. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell have represented to Chad's family that Lori has no juvenile children. Lori Vallow claimed that she was going to homeschool JV, but she is not with JV, and no other educational facility has requested JV school records. No verification of other than caregiver of JV or TR has been found, and that on January 30th, 2020, Lori Vallow failed to comply with the court order to produce the minor children to the Rexbury, Idaho Police Department, Idaho Department of Health and Welfare within 5 days of being served with the order to do so. I believe probable cause exists that Lori Vallow has deserted TR and JV pursuant to the Idaho Code 18401-1. which states it shall be a felony for every person who, having any child under the age of 18 years, department upon him or her for care, education, support, desert such a child in any manner, whether with intent to abandon it. I further believe probable cause exists that Lori Vallow intentionally and willfully abandoned JV and TR pursuit of that code. Due to this, the fact that Lori provided verifiable false information to RPD by telling RPD that JV was located in Arizona at Melanie Gibbs, that said false information obstructed and delayed the investigation onto location of JV by requiring RP to investigate a false lead, and the fact that Lori Vallow solicited Melanie Gibb to corroborate the false information Lori gave RPD. I believe probable cause exists that Lori Vallow resist, delay, and obstruct public officer in the discharge and attempt to discharge a duty of his office, specifically investigating the report of a missing child pursuant to Idaho Code 18705. Due to the fact that Lori Vallow did solicit the request of Melanie Gibb to provide false information to RPD regarding the location of JV, which would have further obstructed and delayed RPB's investigation, I believe probable cause exists that Lori Vallow did commit a crime of solicitation to commit a crime pursuant Idaho 182001. Due to the following facts, I believe that Lori Vallow is a flight risk. Within the day of when we met with Lori on November 22nd to ask about the whereabouts of the children, Lori Vallow had left the state and was within Hawaii within a week. The charges being filed against Lori Vallow are serious. Two of the charges are felony abandonment of children of a child, which carry up to 14 years in prison. Lori Vallow has no significant ties to Madison County. She no longer has a home here, and she has abandoned a significant amount of property here. Lori Vallow has already displayed a willingness to disobey, ignore a court order by not producing JV and TR in Rexbury, even though she was specifically ordered by the court to do so and had adequate time to do so. Lori and Chad Daybell have significant resources. I'm aware that Chad Daybell received $430,000 in life insurance proceedings upon the death of his wife, Tammy. As such, Lori and Chad have resources significant to help them travel to hide from law enforcement and court. Based upon the above, I hereby request a warrant be issued for the arrest of Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, for 2 felony court counts of desertion of non-support of a child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing officers, 1 misdemeanor count of criminal solicitation, 1 misdemeanor count of criminal contempt. I respectfully request, based upon the above bond, be set in the amount of $5 million to secure Lori Vallow's appearance in court, Madison County, Idaho. Signed. There is your full affidavit. Dang, this girl disappears. She vanishes. Took them a little bit of time, but they finally pulled together an arrest affidavit. She's in custody. She's made her first appearance, and bail has been set for, or bond has been set for $5 million. Extradition hearing is March 3rd, according to the report. It's craziness. What's crazy is all the other deaths surrounding this situation. The death of the brother, the death of the ex-husband, the death of the wife of Chad Daybell, now the disappearance of the 2 kids. What do you think? What do you think? So now, if you relate, if you take what's happened with the Idaho cops and you realize how long these Idaho cops have been looking into this case, when they started, they started looking into this case back in November. It became national attention. They continued to look. They were investigating. They were running surveillance. They were doing all of this stuff. If you look at how police have looked into this case and how long it has taken them to arrest Lori Vallow on these charges, you have to understand in Gannon's case, the same thing is happening right now in Colorado Springs. They are investigating, they are watching, they are getting records, they are subpoena and phone records, and all these things are happening. So when we talk about all of these cases, this is a very good example of, hey, it takes some time to do things, and they haven't even got her back to Idaho yet. They can only hold her for 90 days in Hawaii, so they got to get her extradited back to Idaho. But you have to understand, it takes time. It's going to take time. It's going to take time in Gannon's case. It's going to take time in this case with Lori Vallow. It took time with the Patrick Frazee case. And they had a witness. That's the thing. And they had a witness telling them what had happened. And so it's good. It's good that we're seeing these things happen, and that we read through how much time it's actually taken for them to get to the point where they made the arrest. Because it's still going to bring, they're still going to bring some, they're still investigating Gannon's case. And like we started this whole thing with talking about Gannon into the Vallow case, it gives you an understanding of the time it takes, the investigation that's going on and stuff. Now, you and I can sit back here and go, well, this is what happened. This is what they did. This was a plan. Something's happening, and so it is, she's been married 5 times, Pamela says. There's no doubt this woman is into some craziness. There's no doubt that dude Chad Daybell's into some craziness. It's not in my mind. There's no doubt that they probably have they're probably the cause of these exes being murdered. They're probably the cause of this. In this Lori Vallow case, it is probably very unlikely that the children are still alive. And I would say that search parties, because of should probably look into that Yellowstone National Park area. I'm sure they've been covered in snow in the winter months, and hopefully something will come. They will find something out there with the older daughter, because she was last seen out there. So it's craziness is what it is. They turn slowly. Yes, they do, Tinkerbell. They got to get all them ducks in a row before they can come after them. The last thing I was going to talk about is the Chris Watts house, which we have visited. We've been up there. I could probably pull, let me see here. Drone. Let me go to my YouTube real quick, and let me see. Underground, Woodland Park Underground. Just want to see if I have if I have drone footage. I might have put it on down with the phone here. I'm going to look on my Facebook. Maybe I put it on my Facebook. Chris Watts' house was up for auction. It has been pulled from the auction block, probably for a number of reasons. None other than the idea that I was trying to see. I can't find my drone footage of the Chris Watts house. But we, on auction.com, they had the Chris Watts house listed, and it was going to be going on the auction block, but because of, for who knows what reasons, this property has been canceled at this time, but there are many other foreclosure properties still available in the area. And so they pulled the Chris Watts house from the auction block, and they took it off the auction block. There was rumors that a reality makeover show that was going to make over houses where crimes had taken place, where murders had taken place, was actually looking into the Chris Watts house as being featured on their reality show. We were up there about a year ago, probably at this time, took some drone footage, looked into the thing. And, but when these houses have crimes that are committed in them, people don't want to, who would want to live in that house? Who would want to be in that bedroom where they believe Shanann was killed? Who would want to live there? You know, I know that the cops are continuously called to this neighborhood because people come and visit and want to look at the house, and the looky-loos want to get their view of where this thing went down. So that was the only other thing I was going to talk about today. Hey, thanks for joining Dad with a Phone today. It's a crazy Saturday morning, and we have gone through the arrest affidavit for Lori Vallow. We've talked a little bit about Gannon's case. I'm still in contact with Gannon's mother, so I'm trying to get some information on how you can donate financially to Gannon's mother and help them with travel expenses and the things they are occurring just being able to stay here in Colorado. I don't have that information yet, and I wasn't going to push anyone's information until I verified with the mother where those funds should be led. They arrested Lori Vallow. Chris Watts' house is still up for sale, and Dad with a Phone is done. If you want to hit like and subscribe at all the links that are right here, you can. Dad with a Phone on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you want to put some money in my hat for you like watching Dad with a Phone and want to support what I'm doing, you can do that at the PayPal link at the bottom of the screen. Thanks for watching Dad with a Phone. We'll see you guys later.